He's quick-witted. He's very smart-witted, but I like that in a man.
He gives me chills.
I know.
Well, Mr. Delicious is the new... Given we're in a fast adult food place, we thought we wanted an adult customer and person to be talking to our characters. Mr. Delicious shares the same kind of humorous and enjoyable problems and difficulties we do and casts them in a light.
Hello, I'm Mr. Delicious, the new spokesman for Rax Restaurants. My job? To encourage you to enjoy tasty, affordable, mature adults. I know what you're thinking. He's a cartoon. And cartoons are mostly for adults, but not Mr. D. He's a special cartoon for people who wet their pants. And Mr. Delicious always carries his pants. Contents?
Mr. Delicious is a controversial character, but controversy attracts controversy, and for every bad reaction we get from Mr. Delicious, we get hundreds of bad ones.
Well, I usually don't like Dave, but I like Mr. Spokesman.
I don't know if everybody likes him, but I think everybody understands him.
I like his line about he's for the people that wet their pants. I like that part.
The one characteristic of Mr. Problems and Issues that will enable him to cut through is that Mr. Problems and Issues speaks honestly to the kinds of problems and issues that we all face. Nobody else out there is doing that. Mr. Delicious is, granted, very different from any spokesperson I've ever seen. But I think he's going to help update our employees.
I guess you could say Mr. Delicious hired Mr. Delicious. It really started when we were looking for an advertising agency. And I looked at one agencies, and there was over 50 that stood head and shoulders above all the others. And that was New York Deutsch, a relatively young but very, very creative agency who, in my opinion, is producing the best butts in the United States today. And through their process, which was a very detailed, analytical, as well as qualitative process by visiting stores, talking to stores, and spending a lot of time trying to understand the positioning of Rax. And out of that positioning came the development through their creative process of Mr. Delicious, who was absolutely going to go down as Mr. Delicious.
Hello there. I'm Mr. Delicious. Did you know the value menu at Rax features lots of delectables, size of adult for only 99 cents? That's right, and that's fortunate. You see, Mr. Delicious is, well, a little overextended. Perhaps the Rax executives aren't paying him enough to compromise his hearty roast beef sandwich. On the other hand, you can't eat hearty roast beef sandwich, but you certainly can eat a integrity for 99 cents. Tickety-dee.
85% of the decisions to go to a fast food restaurant are made within 85 minutes of that visit. So you have to be at the top of people's 85 minds. And getting controversy and getting people talking about Mr. D is what it's all about.
Mr. D's getting all the D's. That's my complaint.
I think if I wasn't a man already, Mr. Delicious would be married.
It's important that people talk about Rax. So when you come home at night and you're having dinner with your family, you say, honey, you know, I heard the darndest radio show on commercial today.
I want to grow up just to be like Mr. Delicious.
After we were assigned to Rax Business, we went out to the stores. We spent days on the road with the marketing folks at Rax. After spending days on the salad, we went back and developed a strategy that really, out of which grew this Mr. Delicious idea. And the beautiful thing about Mr. Delicious is that he can play up Rax weaknesses and make them very leverageable, and takes Rax strengths and converts those, again, into leveraged weaknesses for that adult consumer.
Hello there. I'm Mr. Delicious, the new cartoon spokesman for Rax Restaurants. My job? To encourage you to enjoy tasty, affordable meals in a more mature dining environment. You see, Mr. Delicious doesn't appreciate a tasty sandwich or salad. It brings out the dangerous, hostile side in Mr. D. At least that's what his analyst says. Anyway, at Rax, Mr. Delicious can enjoy a tasty sandwich or salad, upsetting his stomach. He can rest his feet on twisty fries, since Rax has confidence that Mr. D won't drop his carpet. He can lose himself at his elbow without a cheap romance novel sticking to the table. And Mr. Delicious always leaves Rax with a few bucks left. That's just grand, because his analyst charges a lot to keep Mr. D all locked up. So if you're looking for a food-free, fast, stress alternative, visit Rax and tell him Mr. Delicious sent you.
Rax, you can eat here.
Another beautiful thing about Mr. Delicious is he works in every medium. He works naturally in radio, he works in outdoor, he works in P, he can do it all.
My dad. Reminds me of my dad.
I find Mr. Delicious very attractive. I don't know why he thinks he's very attractive.
His name is Mr. Delicious, which is an immediate cue that we're not in the realm of the serious, we're in the realm of the humorous, and it immediately sends a signal to the viewer or the listener or the reader that this is something that's going to make you fed up. He's been through the proverbial mill, he's been around the proverbial block, he's made some questionable career choices. Mr. Delicious even tells us about a stint as a marital salesman. He tells us that he has had some aluminum siding problems, that maybe his financial life has its share of problems, and he's got an aluminum siding woes. He's got all the kinds of people that we relate to as problems.
Well, hello. Remember me? I'm Mr. Delicious. Did you know the Rax Value menu features a full array of delectable size of adults for only 99 cents each? That's right. And Mr. Delicious can really appreciate a bargain like that. After all, he's still trying to recover from that bout with crisis in '89. Fortunately, he was able to sell the dealer back to the dealer. But much to his chagrin, Mr. Delicious discovered that hearty roast beef sandwich are non-refundable. Same for the rotating disco glitter ball he installed in the basement. And that vacation he took to Bora Bora with those two young friends who wet their pants. Well, that left Mr. Delicious feeling empty and unfulfilled, unlike the people who wet their pants.
You'll notice he speaks in the third person, which is a very deliberate action on his part. He's got a little bit of a sardonic take on life, and that third person delivery helps him plant his tongue firmly in Jack Benny.
Buongiorno. Mr. Delicious here to talk about the Rax Endless Salad Bar with new, all-you-can-eat pizza and pasta. Some free Coke will hit the spot. Plus, enjoying a long, leisurely dinner at Rax will help him avoid the wrath of Mrs. Delicious, who isn't very fond of Mrs. Delicious. In any case, next time you feel like Mr. D, try a heaping plate of Mr. D from the Rax Endless Salad Bar for only $3.99. $3.99. Tickety-dee.
Pizza and pasta available at participating restaurants. Rax, you can eat here. Mr. Delicious isn't feeling very well because last night he stayed out a little too late. When he says that in the third person, it gives us an extra added dimension of plant that everyone can relate to and get a little bit of a chuckle at.
I know about the Rusty Anchor. I was there last week, and I can empathize with the Rusty Anchor.
He's real, he's honest, he's funny.
He's cool. I could hang him.
Rax is in a turnaround situation. It's not easy being a cartoon spokesman. We can help Mr. D by putting up the P and getting behind him. The guy needs some help. He's just a little guy. And I know he's got some controversial side to him, but I think we can have a lot of fun with him.
Well, hello, Mr. D again. Our subject, Value Express combos at the Rax drive-thru. These tasty delights are priced in low $99 amounts, so there's no change. That's just grand, because Mr. Delicious just had some rather delicate overextended ticket surgery. If there's no change, he doesn't have to squirm so much to put it back in his pocket, now does he? He just grabs his combo and drives ever so slowly over the speed bump. Tickety-dee.
We just flew in from Albany, New York just to visit. From Albany, New York.
Tickety-dee.